Hello.
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 How are you doing?
How are you? And Sue Barr, hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us from Bath in southern England.
Nice to meet you.
No, thank you, and apologies not to be there in person.
Well, that's all right. Love to see you. Well, let's start with you then, Sue. Please have a seat. You are the chairwoman of the UK Maritime Energy Council, which is a representative body for the UK tidal and wave energy sector. Ah, Monsieur GUIRAUD, bienvenue. Là-bas, mais il faut aller chercher un petit micro. Sorry. We just had another gentleman who joined us on stage. So I just said you are the chairman of the UK Maritime Energy Council. That is the representative body for the UK tidal and wave energy sector. Now, for now, there's less than 10 megawatts of tidal energy that is commissioned in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. But that could change with the fourth CFD round, where there are £20 million that are ring-fenced for tidal energy. What's your reaction to that? Good news, or is it not good enough?
Well, I think it is good news. If we listen to Philippe from ACRE, there is an opportunity here that we're only beginning to start to develop. Tidal energy has been in development for a long period of time and lost access and route to market in the UK in particular, but more largely across Europe. I think confidence dropped over the past 5 years. But that's not to say that the technologies haven't been developing, haven't been moving forward. And those committed to the cause, some of which you have on the panel there, have been bringing forward technology and projects, even in this vacuum of policy and revenue support. So it's excellent news that the UK government has chosen to support marine energy, particularly tidal stream. This ring fence is only for tidal stream energy in the contracts for difference, which is a proven revenue mechanism for allowing renewable energy projects to come forward with an above market price uplift in terms of additional funds to the projects to allow them to come forward. It has been incredibly successful, in offshore wind, and is now set to help develop the tidal stream sector in the UK. So it's a very positive result. We know that we have about 124 megawatts of eligible capacity for tidal stream in the UK. Will 20 million be sufficient? Not in this round, but what we need is continuity of that access, continuity of that support and that positive position from UK government. So now we have annual rounds for CFDs, so AR4, and we had closed bids for AR4 for that 20 million ring fence was submitted yesterday. We should know the outcome next month of who has been awarded those contracts for difference. But we need continuity of access to that revenue stream, to that policy position, in order to bring the industry forward, and in order for investors and others to see confidence in the long-term horizons for tidal stream energy. So it is a combined effort to make sure that this moves forward. So in the first instance, yes, we think it is positive. In the second, there's still a lot to do, and we need to work together to ensure we have access to revenue.
So bright days ahead, at least partly, for tidal energy. What would you say is the timeline? When could we see the first machines that are to be announced in the selected next month up and running in British waters?
So the delivery timescale under the CFDs is 2026. So we would expect that projects would start to come online then. They have to be generating, so they have to prove that they can access that route to market. We have projects already in the water. We have over 45 gigawatt hours onto the grid in the UK now. So the technology is being brought forward and is being shown to be reliable. We're seeing third-party verification of power curves and power output, but the horizon for those projects in AR4 is 2026.
Right, and I suppose that in a way time is of the essence in this sector. You need actually investments now so that the technology can actually take off in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the International Energy Agency identified that if we're to be on target for our net zero aspirations across Europe, we need to be looking at 75% of that capacity coming from non-commercial technologies at the moment. So we need to view this kind of revenue mechanism as investment for the future, not only for bringing forward tidal stream, but also bringing forward other forms of renewable energy that are still beginning to become commercialized. And I think that there is certainly a long-term view that we need to work together to show a pathway through from low volume production of tidal stream technology at the moment to, as we've seen in offshore wind, at volume production. Once we stimulate the supply chain, we stimulate the project development, we stimulate the ability to get more technology in the water, we'll see those costs rapidly reduce. So we need the incentivization, the pathways, the engagement with the supply chain, and really the knowledge of information that's coming from operational projects to help us project how we're going to take this forward. But we need that roadmap. We need to be able to look forward and know where the projects are going. A bit like the sailing analogy, it has been tacking upwind and downwind of various different policy levers. But I think now we have a clear path to, or at least we know how we need to sail into that policy environment to ensure that we can bring forward this tidal stream technology.
Oh, absolutely. Drew BLAXLAND, you are already developing a project, at least more than one actually. You're director at NORMANDIE HYDROLIENNES, and you have a project in the UK that is called MAGEN. 6 megawatt phase 1 has been up and running for a while. What about phase 2? Where is that at? Tell us everything.
Yeah, thank you. Phase 2 is obviously subject to the outcome of the AR4, and there's very little I can say about that publicly at the moment. It's all confidential, but MAGEN's obviously, as Sue referred to, a key driver to that 45 gigawatt hours that's been pumped out in the UK in the last few years, and therefore has set the standard to which we need to go beyond. So I'm sure my colleagues at MAGEN are thoroughly looking forward to winning something in AR4, but there's not much more I can say about that at the moment.
Well, that's a shame. What about the UK market in general? How important is it for you? What is it the biggest market for you? Where are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the slide on the board, it shows you how long our technology side of the business has been around under various different business names over the last 20 years. And one of the things that, and I am answering your question, I'm just going to get there on a slight detour. One of the things when you look at that slide is you'll see how sort of wacky some of the designs were 20 years ago, and when you used to go to tidal conferences in the UK 15 years ago, there was lots and lots of different ideas floating about. It was very much a nascent concept type industry, and ultimately tidal relies, whatever choice you make, be that floating, surface piercing, subsea, it relies on a compromise. And over the last 20 years we've worked out, and various colleagues of ours have worked out the right compromises for them to make. And what that's done is it's allowed to do what all industry should do, which is mean revert to a few different types of solid, proven technologies. And therefore, with that now groundswell of a lot of hard work and a ton of money, unfortunately, we're now in a position to take it commercial. It's been a tough 5 years, as Sue said, and the UK market's absolutely vital to that because it has led the way in allowing that first 45 gigawatt hours to get in the water. It's not the only market. There are, France to me is absolutely critical. It's the European Union, the European Commission has set a target of 1 gigawatt, as we all know, by 2030. That can only happen with France. It can only happen with a feed-in tariff in France. It can only happen with a regime. And I think naturally, because of the tough last 5 years and some notable sort of bad news stories around tidal, it's taken a little while for that to come back into a positive light. So to me, the UK market's important. The French market, I think, is perfectly placed now to do something very positive. And then we have the Asian markets, which we've just installed a turbine in Japan, for example. It's the first subsea turbine in Japan. And the Asian markets tend to follow Europe, and that will help us take to volume, yeah?
That's for the slides, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's right. I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Sorry. You also talked about France. You have a project in France at the Alderney race, so the Rat Blanchard, as it's called in French. And you will reach, does it not work? Do you just have one slide then, maybe?
Maybe. It's,
Yeah, maybe.
There we go, look at that.
The green one. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, the
That's
Rat
it.
Blanchard.
That's-
That's what I was going to
Perfect
say.
timing.
Yeah,
It's almost like we practiced it.
exactly. Hey, next year you'll reach financial close there. Tell us more about that. Where is the project and what's the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Normandy region. We are one of the Tiger projects, and Tiger's a fantastic program that you'd be aware of over the last 3.5 years across the English Channel, French and English companies involved. Along with our colleagues at HydroQuest, which is also based in Normandy, we've got between us 29 megawatts of pilot to go in the water there. So our turbines, 4 3-megawatt turbines. And again, just like wind, tidal's realising that larger rotors, larger ratings helps bring down the cost of energy. Less cables to shore. The major gen turbines only have 1 cable per turbine. This is 1 cable for 4 turbines. Again, bringing down cost, the same journey that wind has gone on. That project was previously consented with former turbines from TGL Alstom. We picked up that consent and we're now having that consent varied to take those 4 3-megawatt turbines. To me, it's a 12-megawatt pilot. It's small compared to wind. You know, we're still at that small stage. I think HydroQuest is around 17 megawatts. That's where we get the first 29 megs. But for us, this is all about showing the French government, showing that there is 3 major positives out of this. A, the technology is actually more mature than people realise. 2, it's all about enabling local supply chain, local jobs, local production. These are not small machines you can fly in from the other side of the world. You want to build a local supply chain. And absolutely, we can bring down the cost of energy and compete with offshore wind in the next decade. So we would see that 12-megawatt pilot going to a 200-megawatt farm in 2026 and beyond. If we're going to hit 1 gigawatt by 2030, that's the kind of planning we need to do.
Quite some ambition there. Monsieur Guiraud, alors vous aussi, vous avez un projet en France. Vous êtes donc directeur général à QAIR Énergie. En tant qu'énergéticien, pourquoi est-ce que vous considérez que le marché de l'hydrolien est intéressant, important pour vous?
Alors, nous, chez QAIR Marine, on vient plutôt de l'éolien en mer. On est le porteur de projet du démonstrateur EolMed, ferme pilote en Méditerranée. Et on cherchait à se développer dans les énergies marines. Voilà. Et un beau jour, les gens d'HydroQuest sont venus nous voir, nous ont présenté leur technologie. On ne s'y intéressait pas plus que ça. Hein. Jusqu'à présent, on était un petit peu resté sur ce qui s'était passé là en 2013-2014. Il y a eu quand même quelques échecs. Mon voisin a donc racheté une concession. Voilà, bon, c'est reparti. HydroQuest vient nous voir. Ils étaient en train de faire leur prototype, donc qui a tourné pendant 2 ans à Paimpol. Et donc là, on s'est dit, enfin, quelqu'un qui nous propose une technologie qui fonctionne, parce que jusqu'à présent, il n'y avait pas eu tellement de preuves encourageantes de ça. Et en fait, à la base, ils étaient venus pour qu'on investisse chez eux. On leur a dit non, nous, on n'investit pas dans les technologies. Nous sommes des développeurs, nous sommes un producteur d'électricité. Par contre, on veut bien faire des projets avec vous. Voilà. Et nous voilà embarqués dans cette affaire où on a racheté avec HydroQuest la concession voisine de monsieur, qui était la concession EDF Open Hydro, pour y développer une ferme pilote. Alors, nous, la grande découverte quand même sur l'hydrolien en tant que IPP, c'est le fait que on est sur une énergie renouvelable prédictible. Voilà. Et ça, quand on vient de l'éolien, on nous a souvent bassiné avec la variabilité, l'intermittence des énergies renouvelables. Et là, quand même, quand on entend ça, prédictible pour une énergie renouvelable, on se dit ça a forcément sa place dans le mix énergétique d'un producteur qui est pure player de renouvelable. Et donc, nous voilà partis sur cette ferme pilote et avec un partenaire qui a une technologie qui fonctionne et on a donc commencé à développer un dossier avec eux, quoi. Voilà.
Et ce dossier, j'imagine que c'est le projet Flowatt.
Absolument.
17,5 MW au Rat-Blanchard. C'est pas les dernières nouvelles par rapport à ce projet?
Alors les dernières nouvelles, ça a commencé il y a quand même 1 an et demi avec HydroQuest. Nous avons déposé un dossier à un guichet de l'ADEME pour faire une ferme pilote un petit peu sur le même modèle que sur le flottant finalement, avec un mix d'aide du PIA et un tarif d'achat adapté. On a été très challengé par des experts externes de l'ADEME. Hein. Ils ont tout décortiqué. Notamment notre vision évidemment du marché international, puisque quand l'État français investit dans ce type de technologie avec des aides, il s'assure, 1, que la technologie peut fonctionner, 2, qu'elle est scalable, 3, qu'il y ait un marché, une profondeur de marché pour pouvoir amorcer une baisse des coûts. Et il nous a challengé sur notre courbe de baisse des coûts. Donc nous, on disait qu'on était aux alentours de 65 € avec 1 giga installé, 65 € du mégawattheure, hein, pour ceux qui ne suivent pas, pour 1 gigawatt installé d'ici 2030. Donc on a eu droit à un expert dédié sur cette histoire de baisse des coûts. Il est arrivé à 80 à la fin. Bon, voilà, la vérité peut-être entre les deux. Ce qui prouve que quand même, si on arrive à avoir des objectifs dans la future PPE, un petit peu de visibilité dans une feuille de route, hein, tout simplement, hein, pour déployer après les fermes pilotes des fermes commerciales, on pourra faire cette baisse des coûts et avoir cette énergie qui pourra être un jour compétitive.
Alors, vous avez une vidéo, on peut montrer votre vidéo, apparemment.
Oui, absolument. Donc voilà, le Rat-Blanchard. Hein. Alors là, on se rend compte quand même de la force du courant. Hein. C'est quand même un endroit assez... c'est un courant mythique, un des plus puissants de la planète. 12 nœuds, c'est juste énorme. Hein.
Ouais.
Voilà. Le galop d'essai de Paimpol, là, on est sur quelque chose qui fait plus du double. Hein. Donc on est à 3 km de la côte, hein, par 35 mètres de fond. Autre grand avantage de cette technologie, c'est qu'elle est invisible dans le paysage aussi. Voilà, pour des gens qui viennent de l'éolien, on a beaucoup souffert avec ça, donc on se dit prédictibilité, invisible dans le paysage. On est typiquement sur des endroits où on a peu de conflits d'usage, parce que vous avez vu le courant qu'il y a. C'est des endroits qui sont dangereux pour la navigation, donc peu de conflits d'usage. Voilà, et je pense qu'on a coché pas mal de cases pour faire en sorte que cette nouvelle source d'énergie renouvelable puisse avoir un bel avenir, quoi. Voilà, donc la baie des Écalgrins, où on aura notre chambre d'atterrage, et puis notre poste de livraison un petit peu plus loin au niveau de la Hague. Voilà. Et ces 17,5 MW vont pouvoir produire l'équivalent de la consommation d'une petite ville de 20 000 habitants. Ce qui n'est quand même pas rien déjà pour un projet pilote.
Effectivement. Nicolas Morisset.
Oui.
Bonjour. Hello. I'm going to ask you to speak in English.
Sure, I can.
Yes, that's all right. So we just heard from Olivier GUIRAUD why he likes tidal energy. Tidal stream energy, that is. And now we're going to hear from you. You work for EPCI contractor Technique FMC. First of all, you're the commercial director Europe for New Energy there. First of all, who are you? It's not working, is it?
Yeah, anyway.
We have slides. Yes, we do.
There is one slide.
Just one.
Yeah. All right, anyway. Okay, so Technip FMC is a leading technical provider. It's a leading technical provider in the traditional oil and gas and new energy industry. We deliver integrated systems, projects and services. And we are very well known for our ability to execute, to integrate complex systems and execute projects offshore. And we are organized in 3 business lines. So there is one which is subsea, where we built most of our track record. We are a specialist of below the waterline, you know. And we've got a second division which is surface, from the wellhead to the pipeline, so on the water, on the onshore and in shallow water.
Land, yeah.
And then the third segment is this new energy ventures that I'm going to present to you. So this is not the slide. It must be after
You
this.
can use the little machine.
Wow. Anyway, I'll do it.
Should be working.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. C'est pas ça. Okay. Anyway, we can start with that. So we have partnered. We have invested in a tidal technology company called Orbital Marine Power, which is based in the UK, and which have been producing electricity in Scotland for a couple of years already at EMEC. So here you see the second generation machine, which is called the O2. So it's a floating technology. You see 2 wings around the hull, and it plunges at 24 meters deep, with 2 turbines at the tip of the wings. Here you see the current that goes through the blades. So that's the machine off the shore of Orkney. There is an changeover system which allows to lift up the wings to the surface, and it allows to intervene easily, safely, in a short time. So it brings the cost, it drives the cost down, you know, actually, and it's one of the great advantages of the technology. And here you can see the interface that is in the office in the Orkney, where we can see the O2 producing 2 megawatts currently.
All right.
So, this is it. Yeah. Okay. So you saw the slide of the partner, Orbital Marine Power, that we have invested in. This is our company, Technip FMC. So as I told you, we've got 3 segments. The third one is New Energy Ventures, and we've built a strategy around 3 segments, 3 pillars. So the first one is about carbon transportation and storage. We go from the gathering plant to the injection wells, subsea, to store the CO2. Our second pillar is the offshore renewables, floating wind, floating tidal, and wave. So this is why we are here. We are talking about floating tidal. And the third pillar is about hydrogen. Hydrogen, we couple offshore renewable with hydrogen production offshore, with 2 markets at site. One is the production of a renewable and stable power to off-grid islands or facilities like oil and gas platforms. And the second market that we are looking at is the market of the large-scale hydrogen production and large-scale storage in coastal facility, subsea. Coming back to the second pillar, floating renewables. So we are present in floating wind. We are an EPCI contractor below the waterline. So we provide technologies like inter-array cables. We do the design, we do the manufacturing in-house in our factories. We install with our own vessels. So we own the water column. In floating tidal, we have invested in Orbital Marine Power, and we do for them all the industrialization and the EPCI contracts.
Right.
This is us.
Great. Just very briefly, your project, where do you have machines right now? What's the plan for the future? Where do you see yourself with that technology?
Yeah, so Technip FMC, we are very interested in tidal. We had some experience before with naval energy and the open hydro techno. Unfortunately, it failed. That's why we moved to another technology, which is very different, which is floating now. Orbital, they had a machine running in the Orkney since they started in 2018. They delivered 3 gigawatt hours of electricity in 2018. And then we decommissioned the turbine and we installed a second one, a new generation one called the O2, which is delivering now electricity.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we are bidding actively this AR4 in the UK, where we expect some outcome during the summer. So we are optimistic for the future.
Yeah.
We believe that it's going to pave the way for tidal. Yeah.
Great. Well, good luck to you all. We are all hoping for a tidal revolution, I think. Thank you very much for joining me here. Thank you, Sue Barr, for joining us from Bath, and thank you for following us from here in the room and online.